I'm sure that you, just like me, have a bunch of things that you need to do, but they're not catastrophic or critical things, so you put them off. And today is the day that I'm getting some of those things done. I've already done probably 4 little things on the property today that I've just been putting off because they're not big scale things and they don't require a bunch of equipment, but they do require time. So I'm finally getting to one of the bigger items I've been putting off for well over a year. We have an area by the septic tank that when they put the septic tank in, they didn't pack it well. So it settled, and it settled deep enough that the zero turn would get stuck in it. So we're gonna go fix that today. We're also gonna talk about my septic tank and is it functioning properly? Because it's brand new, and I'm brand new to septic tanks, so I'm gonna be asking you your opinion. The reason I brought Precious, our mini excavator, over here is because I want to reach out here and do some of this dirt work without actually driving on the drain field. But I checked something today, and that's where I want your help or your opinion. So we're just starting to green up here in North Florida, and I don't know if you can see it, but I can see it with my naked eye. But there's a section of grass here that's darker than the other grass. So I'm standing on top of the septic tank. It comes out of the house at whatever degree angle it comes into the septic tank, goes into the main tank, then it comes over here into the liquid area of the tank, and when that gets full, it goes out into the drain field. All gravity fed, no electricity, nothing. So my theory was where it's extra green right here is that's because the distribution that comes out of the tank, so it comes out of the tank and hits a manifold, and then it makes 3 drain fields. I thought this was the lower end of the drain field, and I thought there was one here and one up there. But what I found is right here is the T. So it comes out of the septic tank right here, and then it tees off, and it goes to the first drain field. So my foot right here is the first drain field. And I don't know how straight that's dug, but that's the first one, and that's the one that's the greenest. What I forgot, or I didn't realize, is there's another drain field a few feet over here that goes this way. I thought this was the low end drain field, but there's another one that goes this way. There's this one that goes this way, and then there's a third one over here somewhere. So the T comes out of the septic tank like this, and my theory was the distribution line was downward angled, and these drain fields weren't getting any liquid, and the one on the end here was, because it was all going downhill, but that's not the case. And when I put a level on it, if anything, if it's not perfectly level, it actually slopes that way. That's where you come into play. How is the distribution angled that way, but yet I'm greener right here down the center? So I'll show you what the bubble looks like on the level, and that's saying to the left is lower than the right. And if that's the case, if the left, that side, is lower than the right, why is the grass greener on the right side? Out of all this, I think that the septic is working properly, and maybe because that's a slope, it's taller over there and the grass roots don't hit the septic, and over here, the drain field is closer to the surface, and that's why the grass is green. What we're trying to do is get all this level so we can plant grass. I'm not gonna mess with that distribution anymore. So this is what happened originally. There you can see the outline of the septic tank, and when he pushed the dirt back in, he didn't pack it. And over time, the water has eroded down the side of the septic tank. And to show you how deep these holes are, and I've already filled these in once with fill dirt, but that goes well past my ankle. That's enough for the zero turn to get stuck in. So we're gonna come in here with the excavator and just kind of loosen all this stuff in, pack it with the bucket of the excavator, and reach out from the driveway so I don't drive over top of this, and then bring the tractor in from this angle and dump some dirt on here, smooth it in, and put in some grass seed. But first we're gonna get my level out of this hole I dug, because you know I'd be blaming Miss Piney Grove for taking my level when in fact it would be buried under 3 feet of dirt. So with this mini, I can sit over here, not worry about caving anything in, and just kind of reach out and smooth this dirt and pack it a little. Well, I can't reach out that far. I'll do that with the tractor, but I'll make sure that I stay over here where there's no septic tank or no lines. But mainly what I want to do is just kind of crush this down. because this is the side of the septic tank and this is where it's caving in. The water comes down the hill from this side, I guess the right of the camera, and it comes down here and it just finds ways to get into all of these cavities around the septic tank. I mean, that's just pushing down a foot. So all I got to do is just push this grass down, this little bit of topsoil, and then fill in that divot and we'll be good. Now I was digging that soil today, or that dirt today, with a shovel, and it wasn't that bad. It's a little bit of moisture. The sun hasn't had a chance to bake it yet, just coming out of winter here. But when that's completely dry and sun-baked, you'd need an excavator just to do what I did there with the shovel this morning. It's hard to dig a trench or anything and get it packed as well as it was, like, you know, from 10 years of settling and raining. So while I think they could have packed it a little better when they put in the septic tank, I think you're always going to have a little bit of settling. Over on this side, there's a line that comes from the house. It's going to be a couple feet underground, but I still don't want a chance messing that up. So be careful over here. You can make out the outline of the septic right there. And it's always good to know where that is, because septics need to be cleaned out every year or so. And it's always good to know where the tank is so you don't pay a plumber $100 an hour to do a bunch of shoveling. Just knocking this down right here will let me put in a bucket or two of fill dirt, then that grass will grow right up through it. Yeah, that just punched right through right there. Just real easy. I'm gonna go ahead and get the excavator up over these railroad ties a little bit and get a little bit closer to that dig over there. With editing, this won't be in real time, but I just checked the camera. I don't think I have more than about 6 minutes invested in what I've done here with the excavator. So I'm just gonna come up here to the edge. That'll be good enough. And just kind of work that same square pattern around. And you saw how deep the distribution line was, so we don't have to worry about hitting that. The problem with any trench like this is it's really hard to pack the bottom. And I'm not gonna mess with it too much because I don't want to mess up that distribution line at all. But that will probably need some fill dirt, maybe in a year or so when it settles. We do a lot of mini excavator content, and I do a lot of grading with the excavator. I am by no means an excavator expert. It's the only one I've owned, and I've only operated a few rentals in my life. I do enough to get by, enough to get the job done. Maybe I'm not the most efficient. Maybe there's better ways of doing it. But we've just about got this. I'm gonna move a little bit more dirt over here. I think it'll take about, I don't know, let's say 2 full Kubota L-Series buckets of dirt to fill this in. Kind of makes me sad that this is all the work I have to do with the excavator. The goal here today is not to do any damage, leave it better than we found it. And right now we have working plumbing in the house, and we want to have working plumbing when we're done with this job. I'm kind of shocked. I thought 1 bucket of dirt would go a little farther than that. How many bucket loads of dirt did you guess? Because the final tally was 3. So with the first bucket I put in here, it only did that one side, and the second bucket did over here where I showed you the level earlier. And what I wasn't able to do was stay completely outside of the footprint of the septic tank and get my dirt in. But I knew over here, if I came from this angle, this has all been packed and been down for at least 2 years now, I could come up with my boom here and dump and backblade and not go in that little trench that I had where the level was, because I didn't want to get down there and disturb anything. And then the third bucket went right here on this side, and it spread out pretty good. I wish I had some grass seed to put down here, but I'll get some. But I think that's going to do well, but we won't really know until we get a rain and all this settles in. But it's a lot better than it was before, and a lot closer to Miss Piney Grove being able to come in here with her 0 turn and cut this, because before that wouldn't get cut and that grass would be this tall. So I just got a call from the plumber coming to look at another issue in the house. And you know, when he sees this here, he's going to think that I messed something up, but this has nothing to do with what he's coming to look at. But that's going to do it for today's video, folks. We sure appreciate you watching. We appreciate your support, and we're going to throw up a couple of links here to a couple of our other videos. But until next time, y'all take care out there. And remember, life's short, tractor hard.